Hello and welcome back to another EDH deck design video. This is a second part of a two-video series, I guess, I'm putting together of a EDH duel deck, where I designed a mono-white Akroma deck and a mono-red Akroma deck as a kind of a dual deck series, similar to what Wizards does. In EDH, you'll usually see newer players picking up the precon and then maybe fighting each other's precons, but very quickly they will just upgrade them and they no longer have a power level compatible deck. And that's kind of bad. Sometimes you'll see people get just unhappy with EDH because of the severe power level differences. So I designed these with the intention of dragging more of my friends into EDH and teaching them how to play. So I'm kind of actually looking for a lot of feedback on this particular deck because I believe my current build, if you saw the other video, I'm fairly certain the white deck is currently stronger. I'm really good at playing mono-red in EDH, so when I have someone play the other side, my opinion is probably being skewed because I'm very good at playing this Akroma. If you have been with my channel, I've gone through about 5 Akroma videos in the past year. But this is the current design for her build. Like my white deck, I'm trying to capitalize on some of the effects that playing red gives us. So this deck has a lot of shenanigan effects, double damage effects, and double combat effects. Akroma is a very good general if you just like to one-hit kill people. So let's go through what she does. Like the white one, she is 8 mana, but she is 5 red, red, red. For a 6/6 flying body, she still has trample like the white one does, although she has pro blue and white. She has fire breathing, and she also has a morph effect. So I can kind of morph her down for about 3 mana, then I can pay 6 and flip her open. And morph functions in EDH, so if she were to die, I could pay 5 to flip her down and then pay 6 to flip her. As you saw, yeah, I'm still using the Ghetto Ultra Pro Akroma sleeves from like way back when. These are from 2006. The sleeves are hard to get. I had to import these from like Germany, and they came in mostly warped and damaged to their age. And of course, they are white background, and the symbol up here for Ultra Pro is upside down because I'm triple sleeving my decks. But yeah, this is the red Akroma. If you haven't seen my other videos, I really like the red Akroma. She's one of my favorites. But so how this deck pans out, the white deck, if you didn't see the video, has a pile of board wipes, lots of disruption, and its goal is to do a 3-hit kill because she can be just given +1 to her power, and haste and vigilance is pretty hard to deal with. This Akroma has flying and trample too. Fire breathing on your general means it's very easy to make a 1-hit kill. So let's stick her over here and start digging through the deck. We'll start with creatures. The white deck, again, this is something I'm experimenting with, which is prone to change, has over 20 creatures. The red deck only has 12, other than Akroma. Most of these are disruptive in nature. My favorite being Vishino Heretic is super great early. We have some ramp and a replacement effect. Again, this is something that could ward off the red Akroma, or the white Akroma, if I could give it a big power boost or toughness boost, because both Akromas have trample. We have more ramp. Storm Breath is pro-white, but just like the Akroma, she's pro-white and blue as well. The white Akroma is pro-red, so they can't touch or actually work with each other at all. But this is also pro the rest of the other Akroma's deck, which is actually pretty good, except for like the artifact creatures. So while the white Akroma deck has a lot more creatures and a lot more taxing effects, something like this can actually shut them down temporarily. This actually taps down the white Akroma, so I can get through for some pretty good damage. Godo is one of the very rare tutor effects I left in these 2 deck series, because he can tutor up an equipment. There's a lot more equipment in this deck than the white Akroma deck has 2 equipment. This one has much more. Horde Smelter Dragon is what red likes to do. It likes to destroy artifacts. This can, of course, be a very big beater. Inferno Titan goes with the white deck has the white Titan. I have to have the red Titan too. Lots of damage doublers and mana doublers, so he could be a very big fire-breathing body. A Duplicant is one of our rare answers to the white Akroma. This is something I may need help with, more ideas of how to deal with her, because I don't want to design the decks specifically against each other. I wanted them to be compatible to fight other decks as well in multiplayer. So the power levels I don't want to weaken specifically, and I don't want to include cards just for the other deck. A duplicate is a generic answer, which is a good fit. Duplicate can take care of the white Akroma for one turn. Then we have the Worm Coil, of course. This is something that's really nice if I give it flying, because it can help ward off Akroma. And Steel Hellkite made the cut again. This is actually, I don't normally run the Hellkite. In my opinion, it's not as fast as I like my decks to be. But if I can give this a power boost, this is an answer to the white Akroma. Usually this requires a board wipe to get rid of, which is pretty nice. If you saw the white Akroma deck, again, there's lots of board wipes, lots of answers to creatures, so this it's all situational here. This needs a lot more play testing to be certain. Let's go on to the spells. Since the white deck has mostly just removal and reanimation for spells, the red deck has to pick up the slack and kind of do a lot of douchebaggery or copy effects. I was wanting to put Reverberate in here. The problem with Fork, if I were to fork like a Path to Exile, for example, Fork makes it a red spell, so I cannot target the white Akroma with that. Thematically, that's kind of fun because all the white spells can't target the red Akroma, so I kind of want to keep it in here, but I probably should get a Reverberate. Reiterate, of course, made the cut because it's one of my favorites. Vandal Blast and Into the Core are my staples for artifact removal. Ruination is the one answer. The biggest problem card in the white Akroma deck is the Core Haven. Core Haven is a non-colored land, so this is kind of our answer to that. It's not a reliable, tutorable answer, though, so again, this is something that may need to be updated. Normal draw in red, I have my Wheel of Fortune, and now we're getting on to the good stuff here. So Akroma has Fire Breathing and 6 power. My white deck, I try to give her +1 power at least, so she's a 3-hit kill. But this Akroma can very easily be a 1-hit kill. For example, if I land Akroma and I have the 8 mountains it took to cast her, or 8 land or 8 mana sources, Seize the Day costs 3 to cast, or 4 to cast and 3 to flash back. If I were to Fire Breathing Akroma for 1, just give her +1 power, I can cast Seize the Day and flash it back on the same turn, and that would be lethal 21 general damage. Savage Beating is very similar. It's just a much more devastating effect. I get a second combat, but it gives her double strike. World at War is a situational one. I won't be able to, unless I have some other effects out, I may not make this a 1-hit kill, but I can cast this on the same turn like I cast Akroma. If I have no way of giving her haste, that frees up my entire next turn, giving me 2 combats to Fire Breathe. And what red likes to do is shenanigans, or what I like to do in red is just random shenanigans. Something like this, I can take one of the white Akroma's flyings, or something to chump block the white Akroma with, if she has a bigger creature, for example. Wordicizing, same thing. I can instant speed take something necessary. Grab the Rain, same thing. I also love these because while I can take their creature and block their own creature, I can take one of their creatures for the win. Wordicizing hits any permanent. This one entwines to fling it as well. I have my normal burn in here. I love these spells because they exile. The white Akroma deck has lots of reanimation, but I like exiling in general. These are in most of my decks. So all 3 do the same thing. They burn target creature player for 3. If this one is better because it has a cannot be regenerate clause, if the creature were to die, it would be exiled. Red Sun Zenith is an exile X spell. Same thing. And this is an X target all creature spell, or X to all creature spell, or I could cycle it. And Blast Attack is our secondary board wipe, and All Is Dust is our primary board wipe. There's lots of enchantments in the mono white deck that I cannot deal with, and this is our way of dealing with it. This is also the only board wipe I have that can get rid of the white Akroma. Again, this is something that's kind of hard to work around. Mono red doesn't have a lot of suitable answers or consistent answers. So this is mostly trying to just make the white Akroma deck deal with the red Akroma first. As I said, I have the Ruination there to help with the Core Haven. I also have Blood Moon. This is generically good because there's some other utility lands in the white deck like Emeria, but it's also just a generically good card in any deck, really. Siege Outpost is new. This is something I've been putting a lot of my red decks. I highly suggest this if you're playing mono red. It is a rare effect which gives us potentially a second card. Second ability is not super good in EDH, and standard is nice, but the first ability there is it's Chandra's +0 ability, where I can rip an extra card off the top of my deck. The only bad thing is, again, if it's going to stay exiled if I can't cast it. Sorry. Price of Glory is my lovely tax effect, which, again, it may not have a super big impact against the mono white deck. but it's basically makes people not want to do end of turn effects. Granite Grip and Claws of Valakut are more shenanigan cards. I just love these two. Normally in Akroma, my good deck, for example, I'm running Equipment, which gives her Pro Red, so these enchantments won't work out. How this works, let's just assume I didn't ramp and I played 8 mountains, and then I cast Akroma. And the following turn, I play my 9th mountain. I use 3 mana to equip one of these, either one, it doesn't matter. Then I Fire Breathe the rest into an Akroma. So Akroma gets +9 and 0 from just 1 enchantment, and then I'm able to pump the rest for Fire Breathing. That's exactly 21 damage. So these guys, if I have the mana or the mountains up, or just about anything really, it makes it a one-hit kill. It's very easy. Sometimes it doesn't work, but of course I have more effects, like Furnace of Wrath, or Dictate, or Gratuitous Violence. All 3 of these are double damage effects. The first 2 I need to be careful because the white Akroma deck is trying to kill me too. Gratuitous Violence is better because it's just my creatures. I have 2 walkers in this deck. I was tempted to put a few Elspeths in the mono white deck, but as I said, I currently think the mono white deck is just stronger. So I'm running Chandra for card advantage and Koth for potential extra win condition, and he is really good artifact or mana accelerant. Let's go on to the lovely giant stack of artifacts coming up. So this deck has a few more equipments. Again, I wanted to go on theme with damage doubling or effect doubling. So of course I love the Inquisitor's Flail. It is essentially, if this resolves and I equip it to Akroma and she's able to swing with my extra mana, it's going to be a one-hit kill. Darksteel Plate. Yeah, if you notice, my priorities are obviously mono red because most of my foils are going to be in here. My extra stuff is in the white deck. But keeping her safe from the massive supply of board wipes is really good. The best thing I like doing with the red Akroma is giving her the white Akroma's abilities. So Sword of Vengeance is very flavorful in this aspect. Batterskull makes it a 10/10 flying vigilant lifelink with fire breathing. This is usually just a fantastic card in any deck. And that's it for equipment. The rest of this is my general utility. You've probably seen it in all my other mono red decks. Expedition Map is there to get our, like Valakut, Train Generator, Temple of the False God, whatever we really need. Torpor Ore made the cut because the other deck does have a lot of enter the battlefield effects, but as I said, I want this deck to be generally good against everybody. And a lot of my permanents are susceptible to enter the battlefield removal. So this is just a generically good card everywhere. While the white deck gets land tax, the best I can do in mono red is this, which is a version of card filtering, or just pulling lands out of my deck so I hopefully draw less as the game goes on. I actually really like this card because it's very passive. It doesn't look very threatening, and a lot of people won't bother removing it. But in the long run, very long drawn out games, it's actually very good. Then we have my normal ramp, the Soul Ring and the Bauble. I love this because I can bolt people with Valakut, Mind Stone, and this one only, I don't think I have the charcoal, or the Fire Diamond in here. If you notice in the other video, I put the new bordered Mind Stone, and this one I put the darker border. I did that with as many cards as possible because it just fit the flavor of red better. So we have the original border here with the Scourge Temple, original Mind Stone. Commander Sphere I'm trying to put in all my decks because it is a really decent way of just, when you don't need the mana, you draw a card. This one I do have Thrawn Dynamo because there's more expensive things coming up here. I put more mana doublers in this deck. Sculpting Steel is most likely going to be one of those. For example, there's a Gauntlet. Then I have the other 2 mana doublers, just like in the white deck, are these 2 right here. So I have 3 or potentially 4 mana doubling effects just from these guys. Again, that's really busted on Akroma because doubling her fire breathing and giving her an already +1 boost is really good. Then I have my Staffinin and Mind's Eye for card draw. And the last one is Akroma's Memorial. Again, the mono white deck I feel is still superior. Something like this makes it really just giving all my stuff first strike, and it doesn't give me the protection I need to be pro white. But if I were to snap that while I have something like the Worm Coil Engine or something like Steel Hellkite out, I'm looking at something that can really keep the white Akroma at bay. But as you're seeing, these mana costs on these cards is really high. Let's go on to the lands. As I said in my mono white deck, both decks are running 38 lands on the dot. Let's get this over here. Now you already saw the Temple, it's just generically good in EDH. Valakut and Train Generator. Well, where's the Train Generator? Oh, I don't have it in this one. I think I took the Train Generator out because I only had the one and I needed a filler for the white deck. So we have Valakut in here. Mirrored Landscape is something else I probably need to get for the white deck, because it's just really good ramp. The rest of these are 35 mountains. I'm using my Time Spiral Mountains because it's mostly on theme with the Planar Chaos variant here of Akroma. So yeah, 38 lands total. But that is actually both decks. Again, I would suggest checking out the white decks. You understand why some of the cards are in these decks. If you've seen my other Akroma decks, you'll know that I tend to put a lot of the same cards in my mono red decks. The interesting thing here is the white aspect. I don't play mono white very much. I've only made one other mono white deck before. It was a Jared Leonin Titan, that giant thing from Onslaught. And that was an interesting deck. That was also quite a few years ago, so there's a lot of new tech. I need to get a lot of experience in playing the mono white deck before I can safely say it's the stronger one. And if it is the stronger one, I don't want to take power out of that deck. I just need to increase the power of this deck. The exception there is the fact that the white deck has 2 tuck spells, Terminus and the other one. So I could potentially put the red Akroma on the bottom of the deck, and I have no way of getting her back. That is probably the most important thing I need to update and change. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting experiment. I know Wizards may eventually do something like this themselves from development standpoint, but they'll do that same thing they usually do and grossly limit the power of the decks. Putting out more interesting and flavorful cards are nice. There's not a lot of mono red themed Akroma referencing cards. There's a pile of them for mono white though, and I actually started putting all these in the deck. I may take the Terminus effects out for these 2, although these are just not good cards in EDH. But yeah, I'm mostly looking for ideas. If you have any ideas on how to make these compatible with each other, essentially making their power equal. It's never going to be always equal. That's the most important thing to take from this when teaching other people to play EDH. It's all about the variance. You're in a 100-card singleton format, so every game is going to be drastically different. What I do not want to happen, although, is for every single game, for one of these 2 to always excel out and always kill someone faster than they can actually get online with. This is such a tricksy thing because they both do wildly different things. This one taxes and then board wipes, and it focuses on a 3-hit kill and reanimating this Akroma even if she dies. This one just tries to get Akroma out and hopefully kill the person the next turn in 1 hit. But yeah, if you do have any ideas or suggestions, or if you have any other ideas for dual deck commanders, let me know. I like the idea of doing this maybe with another setup. I was considering the white and black Kovacs, or maybe the green versus black Mirror the Cursed. And the problem is putting black against them, like white for example. Mono black is always going to be stronger than mono white in EDH. The red is classically one of the worst colors, white is right next to it. Then you have black and green and blue all fighting for like first and second in the most powerful color race. So getting a compatible general setup is the first hard part. Finding a compatible archetype, like these guys are semi-Voltron. Not quite a linear Voltron deck, they're more sublinear since they can win without the general. But yeah, any ideas, let me know.